So thank you for coming out, Aaron Rosa.
So it's kind of off topic, but if you had one superpower, what would it be and why? What would you pick? Fly? Where are you going to go?
Mexico. I go to Mexico.
Directly to Mexico?
Yeah. It's the place I think I'm going to live half the time. And because my vision is to be like a coding contractor after I do my high-tech gig now.
All right, awesome.
Because I want to just be independent and do stuff for people. And
so freedom is a big priority.
Yep.
Freedom's a big priority for you. All right, cool. What would you say was the spark that helped get you to want to learn how to code? What was that initial kind of like that set you off, that light bulb that just blew up?
It was about 5 years ago. So I've been doing high-tech marketing, like I said, for 12, 15 years. And I work with a lot of technical folks. And so I was curious about how things worked. I worked in the data storage industry, and I wanted to understand like how they formatted, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't want to do hardware. I knew that software was quite interesting, and it's always in the back of my mind. And then I had a cousin who actually went to a boot camp. I didn't even know they existed. And he said, yeah, 3 months you could learn how to code, and just planted the seed. And I started learning HTML, CSS, basic stuff, using a lot of free resources. And I said, yeah, this is really fun. I like doing this. So I made it a plan, like 2 years in the making, to quit my high-paying job and learn how to code.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Were you one of those people that took like clocks and stuff apart, like when you?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I built amplifiers because I DJ'd back home in the Philippines.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I did a lot of things. I've lived a long life.
You were so quiet in class.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to get it done. But I built amplifiers. I had my own DJ business, and I built my lighting system. So I was always like curious about how things worked, and that's what coding really got me into coding, because just you interact with the tech all your life, and I just wanted to know how it worked. And
So before you knew, but when you still wanted to learn how did you think it worked? What was when you thought about the internet, what did you think was going on there?
I knew what was going on. I mean, it wasn't a mystery to me. I mean, I don't know it, but I had AOL, dial-up, all that stuff. And I had floppy disks. I mean,
you kind of got it. You got it.
Yeah, I got
bit,
it.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't really a mystery to me. But really, what sparked the coding aspect is I wanted to create. I really wanted to build. Because my role was in marketing was to just tell people, this is what we do. But I really wanted to create the thing.
I've noticed that a lot of the really successful students here,
Yeah.
they all kind of share that kind of like desire to create and to build things that nobody else has been able to build yet.
Yeah.
Be the first one, I guess, to plant your flag kind of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah. And where do you work now?
Yeah, I work for New Relic.
Okay.
And they provide IT monitoring services for customer-facing websites. So it's really an important platform. They provided software as a service, so you don't have to install any hardware. It's you can get up and running literally 5 minutes.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's what I.
That's cool. And now, so for you don't work in a strictly coding position, which actually was really, really interesting, because I think a lot of people feel like once they do this, they're just trapped, and they're going to be sitting alone in a corner at a desk somewhere in a dark room by themselves, just programming all day long.
Yep.
So can you explain a little bit about what you do for New Relic?
Sure. So traditionally it's pre-sales engineer. In New Relic, my official title is solution engineer. And basically my job is to talk to prospective customers or existing customers and show them the value of the New Relic platform. It's a super technical role. It's way beyond code. Like code is like 5 to 10%, because I'm dealing with people who run data centers, and so I'm helping them understand how to monitor from their front end all the way to the back end.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm dealing with, a lot of times I don't know, they're running like Dockers, Kubernetes, all these like very modern architectures, and I just know a little thing about it. I just need to be like 2 hours ahead of them and just know enough so I can go into the meeting and say, okay, yeah, this is what we do. But then I come back and like study what they do like for a couple of days, and and then present a solution to them.
And when you first applied for that job and when you first started, did you feel like you were ready? Did you feel prepared?
I got to that sales engineering role actually. I first wanted to do traditional software engineering, the usual coding in the
I remember
dark
that,
room.
yeah.
Yeah. But then I realized I have other skills that I can bring to the table that are unique to other people. Because I needed to stand out. It's a very, very competitive space, as you know.
Yeah.
And I had to bring something that nobody else can do. And I had all these years of business value, speak, marketing, talking to customers. And that, combined with my technical knowledge, is something a lot of people didn't have. Mm-hmm. And that's when I decided, I think sales engineering is where I can shine. And maybe someday I'll still do software engineering, but for now, this is the role that really, where I felt like I could stand out.
That's really cool that you realized that, and you went
and
to where your talents
were.
were.
Thanks to you helped me realize that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try,
Yeah.
How many interviews do you think you had before you got the actual New Relic job?
So, I had statistics. I sent over.
I remember you were extremely organized
Yeah.
when we were together.
I sent over, I would say, 150 to 180 resumes. I had like 5 per day, and I sent you.
You followed the system. You followed the 5 per day system. That's good.
Yeah, I sent you the companies. And that really worked. And I think the cover letters, making it short and sweet, and adding what value I bring. So 150. I had about 18 interviews, maybe like 8 on sites, and then two like finals, and then 1 offer.
That's
like
great.
My funnel.
You had a very strict funnel. That's fantastic. That's what you're looking for. And then can you talk a little bit about the New Relic hiring process?
Sure.
What were you feeling emotionally when you were going through it? Were you nervous? Were you just like, what was going on?
What was interesting is New Relic wasn't on my radar. They were just like part of the 5. They weren't like, I didn't really know their
You didn't know everything about front-end website, back-end server monitoring?
No, to be honest, no. And so in that interview process, because I didn't really care. Actually, I was interviewing another company I really cared about. Mm-hmm. So with New Relic, I was just myself. I didn't really care. But so the interview process was, a recruiter called me, did a really quick 5-minute, 10, like getting to know me. And then I interviewed with 3 of the hiring managers. They all had open recs, but they didn't know where I was. And then I had to come in and present and demo a technical product. But they wanted to see how I interacted with people, how I answered like objection handling, that sort of thing. And they put me in a room with some really skilled people. I didn't really know.
That must have been very nerve-wracking.
But I didn't know. So to me, and like I said, I didn't really care because I didn't know the company
Oh,
that well.
okay.
And so I wasn't nervous. I mean, I was, but not as nervous because I didn't care as much. But it was a pleasant surprise because when I went into New Relic, the culture was really amazing. It's such a really diverse, it really is diverse in the truest sense. So I guess I'm lucky I ended up there.
And when you got in, what were your first couple of weeks like?
So there is a very strict onboarding process. They really need you to be certified on the products. So I had to watch so many videos and learn the product.
You were back in school. You
I
just
was
got out
back
of
in
school and you
school.
went back into New Relic boot camp.
I was getting paid to learn. So it took me 3 months of certifications before,
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
before they put me in front of customers. Because when you're in front of customers, you better know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. They don't like a lot of unanswered or wrong
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. So
That's very, very true.
So it was a 3-month certification, and
And where are you going to? Where are you taking your career now? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, so I'm thinking this is the first time I'm doing sales engineering, so I'm liking it thus far, but I'm still coding on the side. I'm doing some volunteer work with non-profits. And in New Relic too, they give you opportunities to code on the side. I'm involved in some UI development too with other developers. So I just want to keep learning. Coding is, you never stop learning. That's why I love it. There's always something new coming up. And my dream is to do some contracting work on the side. Like I said, live in Mexico.
Go to Mexico, do
fly to
contracting
Mexico,
work.
do some contracting work on the side. And
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
And are you happy?
very happy. Actually, even though I'm making less money than I used to, but still it's good. I'm so much happier, definitely.
That's awesome. Well, we're really proud of you. I know that you worked your ass off actually to get to where you are, and you did fantastic. So
Yeah, no, thanks to you guys.
I'm absolutely thrilled for you, Generosa.